Everyone. This is the community preservation meeting scheduled for March 16th, 2022. Meeting started at 7 p.m.
Hello?
Hi, can you hear us?
Yep.
Yes. Hi,
Okay.
it's Beth Thomas.
Hi. Okay. Our meeting is being held in person and hybrid based on COVID-19 restrictions. Okay, so just, okay, thank you. And we'll do, I'll just announce who is present from the committee in the Zoom room. John Wiley, committee member, and Beth Thomas, committee member. Myself, Jeannie Reed, is present, and I'll start with to my left.
Dave Spina. Dave McWilliams.
Joanne Haracha.
Cassandra Bach.
Over here.
Brian Walker.
Thank you. Okay, first line item on the agenda would be public comment. Is there anyone who would like to speak for public comment? Michelle Pratt?
Michelle Pratt, 152 Berkshire. I just want to make a request, and I'm not sure who to make it of, so I'm just gonna kind of ask everybody. In our town, we can sign up to have everything emailed to us, agendas and meeting minutes for committees and stuff. So if you can't attend, you can stay up on what's going on. So I've signed up for that. And from this committee, we only have like a 67% of the agendas emailed out, but no minutes are emailed out and nothing's posted on the website back to October of 2020. So I think, you know, if people want to find out what's going on with the committee of our tax dollars at work, we should be able to just go on the website if we want, or we should be able to go on our email and grab those minutes and kind of see what's happening. And they're not there. So you kind of have to search through YouTube and listen to recordings and listen to the whole meeting and all that. Or you would have to make the request of the clerk for freedom of information and get the records and pay for it or whatever. It's probably not much money, but I just would like to have that corrected. Obviously, we all understand we get behind. It's totally fine if it's a few months behind or even, you know, that's not a big deal. But nothing since October 2020, I don't think as a citizen and a taxpayer is acceptable. So I just would like a corrective action, and I don't know if it's from, probably not from you guys or select board or Carl or whomever, but if we could get those up, because I know you guys do them and you discuss them. So that would be super important to us. Thanks so much.
Thank you. We will make sure that moving forward that does happen, and I will make sure to speak to the proper channels to make sure that happens. Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak for public comment? Okay. Moving on to reviewing of old business. First line item on our agenda is the Brass Rail Project. For discussion. Do we have anyone from Historical Commission? Would you like to comment on what happened at your meeting?
Not at this moment. I was not at that meeting.
Okay, all right. Hello. Okay, thank you.
Lee Amber, Chair of the Historical Commission. We met and voted in favor of the project as submitted. So
Okay,
that is how it is.
great, thank you. Anyone else have any discussion about the project?
That's all we're waiting for.
Okay, yeah, we were, yep.
So I think my biggest concern was the benefit to the town, right? And I was waiting to hear from the Historical Commission on what their thoughts were. And actually reading through the application from the town for the town hall, going through the parts about ADA applicability for historic buildings and buildings in town, kind of made me think a little different. So, thank you for noting that in the application.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. So are you referring to CPC funding a private project.
I think it was CPC funding a project that was deemed a historical building
Mhm.
and utilizing funds for making it ADA accessible.
Okay. And Jen, I see you here.
How are you?
Good, how are you? Do you have any further comment? Because that is one of the main things that you are doing to the building,
So
correct?
the ADA is already done.
Mhm.
It's really just, do you want to make sure that we have submitted the historical society?
Yeah, sure. I did.
emailed you
I
earlier.
sent it to the
Yeah.
committee, but at
Alright, so
like 5 o'clock, so I don't know how many people checked. Yeah, it's
you
kind
got-
of, yeah. So Jen
just so-
did
just
send
so
this
it's
to me
clear, the
earlier.
The ADA is already done. And now we're just gonna be cleaning it up and putting the staircase down. So the ADA is already there. And that was- That's the now, that's proposed. And this is the site plan that's already built there. And then that's a proposal of what actually is gonna be here.
Okay.
I would make the motion to accept the project.
We're just gonna wait 1 second because they're just passing around the photos.
Yep. I saw, so I'm good.
Okay. I'll second the motion.
Okay. John Wally submitted a motion to accept the project for the brass rail. Brian Walker second the motion, so we will have a vote. I will start with myself, Jeannie Reed, aye. Go to my left.
Dave Spina, aye.
Dave McWilliams, aye.
Joanne Horacek, aye.
Cassandra Bach, aye.
Thank you.
Deborah Harris, aye.
Thank you.
Brian Walker, aye.
Thank you. John Wally, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Beth Thomas, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, unanimous decision to approve the funding for the brass rail.
Excuse me, Judy.
Yes.
People are on Zoom saying they can't get in.
Probably because I don't see anybody. I don't see anybody.
Could it be the link?
Yep, probably. Michelle,
Michelle?
have them try this link. Probably because there was 2 different links that went out. Okay, so with the approval of this project, it's imperative that a warrant article has to be prepared and submitted by April 1st to the town hall in preparation to get it onto for the town meeting. So we would need to do that. So we prepare the article, and you also have to prepare pros and cons of the project.
Who's typically done that?
I can't answer that. Does anyone know? Really? Okay. So I know on the coalition website, there's a few examples, so probably we could put something together, and then as a group, we would have to review it, I would think.
Would you say the date was?
April 1st is the deadline.
As a draft,
Yes,
and town council review, whatever review.
okay. Thank
So
you.
I do have a question. Once that form is created and approved by town council, do we as a commission have to vote on the form?
Once this board approves the action, it's more of a ministerial task in order to get the language prepared. I don't think a separate vote would need to be taken.
Okay, because there's a time frame that's concerned between now and April 1st, and we're not scheduled to meet, so.
I think if this board took a vote to authorize the warrant article to be prepared, sent to town council for its approval, to be approved commensurate with this board's decision. I think that was
I'd have to be done. Is that still by April 1st or before that?
correct by April 1st. It needs to be submitted.
Is that the problem, Michelle?
I don't know yet. Who came in?
Peter Courier?
But I mean, I didn't get this email.
Mhm. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So you should
Okay.
make a motion.
Yes.
Motion to accept.
Think a motion to, let's see. Authorize the drafting of the warrant article, right?
Mhm. Yep,
And submittal of it to town council.
okay.
And to authorize town council to approve the form commensurate with this board's decision to approve the project.
I second that.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. So we will have a vote on that. Myself, Jeannie Reed will vote aye, yes.
Dave Skinner, aye.
Dave McWilliams, aye.
Thank you. Joanne Horacek, aye. Thank you.
Cassandra Bach, aye.
Thank you.
Deborah Harris, aye.
Walker, aye.
John Wally, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Beth Thomas, how do you vote? Beth?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, so approved for drafting a warrant article and submitting it to town council with the authorization for town council approval. Okay, we're all set. And you're, sorry if I'm over speaking, but I know there's a quick turnaround on that, so you need a couple of days to receive it by?
I just need it by the time that it's needed to be submitted to the town in accordance with all other warrant articles. Once it gets submitted and with all the other warrant articles, I then have time to review the draft with the chief administrative officer to approve it.
Okay,
So that should be sufficient.
great, thank you. Okay. Moving on to the next topic would be further discussion on the open meeting law complaint, which was dated, well, it was dated January 8th of 2022, but that was from a violation that was in April 6th of 2021. Just to update you, the minutes were approved by us previously, and then they were submitted in hard copy to Mr. Steinhardt, and they were forwarded also to Michelle Hill from Town Hall, and our town council received copies. In return, our town council did submit a copy to the Attorney General's office, and that so that was suffice for our compliance, and that has been resolved and put to bed. And we'll move on. And we learned from that. Okay, moving on to the next item of agenda, review of revenue sheets. That was-
It's dated. We,
2/16, 2022. That should have been, that should be. Yeah. So last one was
There aren't any new
2/16.
ones.
So the last one is 2/16. Okay. So do we have any comments, anything else? Which is pretty much what we're going to be using as a presentation to to Finance Committee on Saturday at 8:25, I think it is.
I've got one dated 3/9. And I think it was part of the roof project. They included it. Does that sound right? Oh, no, I took that back. This is an old one.
It's an old one.
3921.
Oh, okay.
I was looking at.
All right, so what we're moving forward with, when we go to our meeting would be one from 216. Okay,
One from 2/15/2021. Or I mean 12/15, sorry.
okay, so we'll get you a copy of this, we'll get it after the meeting.
No worries.
So this would be what we're going to speak on behalf of at
Saturday.
Saturday at the Finance Committee. If anyone else would like to join in, they're free to attend.
8:25.
8:25. Yes, yes, bright and early. St. Patrick's Day weekend, thank you.
Yeah. And we're. the
Joe
land
Didi.
use-
Yeah, right?
The land use room or?
Yes, it's up here,
Land-
sorry.
Land use.
Yep,
okay.
I'm joking, so should be serious. It is up here.
Don't be serious.
Okay. We can move on and we'll get copies.
All right.
All right. Okay, discussion of projects the committee would like to investigate. Anything, anybody have ideas, people talking in town, anything like that?
I think the big conversation is actually the next bullet point.
It kind of all ties in here, so we can kind of just throw it all in. Okay, so the next line item would be the discussion of the two state properties in 61A parcels that are being presented to the town. Dave McWilliams is going to kind of brief us, and then we also have some folks in the audience that may want to speak a little bit about it as well. And it kind of, again, goes over a few line items that we have on our agenda. We can kind of roll it all into one.
Yeah, sure. So since we last met, the Agricultural Commission voted to approach the town to secure the property through the first right of refusal program policy. Conservation did the same. So there's two commissions within town that are looking to see what we can do to preserve that property. There's been conversations with the property owner. I know one of the concerns was that there was buildings on the property. There's a house and a couple of barns. So a few of us met with the property owner the other night, Art Pennell, and he was agreeable to portioning those out and just only opening up the land itself, and he would sell the developed property as a separate parcel altogether. So that would free up the concern of any kind of maintenance that would need to be done to those facilities through the town. So that provides a couple of concerns as well, is the timeliness of getting that done. I think Art's concerned about the cost of going through his attorneys to parcel those out. And then there's the constraint of our 120 days to act on any properties coming off of Chapter 61. So he is agreeable to extending the 120 days to a number that's something that we feel we could meet if we agreed to move forward with it. We just don't know the legality of that, how we would go about doing that right now. So as a town, how would we extend that? So that's kind of where that stands. I understand if we can get everything ironed out, that the Historical Commission is going to be coming before the board with an application to make that request. By the property. Agricultural, thank you.
I was like, what are they doing?
Is this 72 Ward Lining Road?
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
Yes, sorry about that.
Dave, just one other. Two other points, Bert Hanson, 153 Morton Mining Road. Kind of the issue here is that the property owner now already has a purchase and sale agreement with the Oak Ridge Custom Builders. And it's the same group that's developing all those other houses at the south end of North Mining Road. So he's now decided he wants to carve out a house and barns and about 3 acres to sell separately, and then put the remaining roughly 27 acres, in some sort of conservation. So you're mentioning legalities about potentially extending the 120 days that the town has. And so there's big legalities with how do we go about revising that purchase and sale agreement, getting maybe a new appraisal that appraises the house and farm separately from conservation. So a lot of moving pieces. Right, before town meeting. So there's just a little bit more. Sort of that.
Any other discussion? Yes, sir.
Doug Mogul, 5 Hidden Place. Is this to acquire an APR on that property or to acquire the property outright?
Well, that's kind of been discussed as well.
I think the intent initially was to purchase the property outright, to keep it in agricultural and mixed use, possible recreation as well. So I think that's the intent as it stands.
Thank you.
And I think the reason why it's being discussed tonight is because with the thought that if it were to be open space or recreational, that if there were some type of activity or something to take place on the property, that community preservation funds could be used. I mean, obviously down the road, but that is kind of the intent. So I think that was one of the intents for Bert to come into the meeting, was to say if it is purchased, that there are other options with a few other boards that could be, things could be either, built on the property, or there's plenty of options. It could stay agricultural and stay, leasing it out to a farmer, that kind of thing. So there's quite a few committees that could have a vested interest in it with future projects on this land. And then the other parcel of property, there isn't an interest, because it is just an individual that's 426 North Loomis, correct?
Yeah, there is no interest on contracts.
Right,
So
and that's just
And not by.
Right. Okay. So, is there any other questions in regards to that? And I think it's just to alert the committee that that down the road, there could be things that may happen, and we may be getting applications or ask for funding if it applies and it qualifies for it.
But we don't know the dollar amount until they get it
Right,
reassessed.
it's gotta be reappraised and everything, and that's all, like they said, deadlines. And another thing, keeping in mind, which I know that people may hate me for saying, but you do have a deadline with the special town meeting, but you also have the ability to be able to, or with a town meeting, but you also have the ability to be able to request as citizens a town meeting, a special town meeting as well. If you run into deadlines and there's things like that happen. So we have that in our back pocket as well.
Actually, hopefully we won't have to go to the special meeting route.
Mhm.
That's time and effort.
It is, yeah. But it's there. If there comes a, where there's a loss based on a date, Anything else? Okay, moving on to accepting the minutes for the February 16th meeting. Everyone had a chance to review them. So we're in agreement, we can sign off on those.
I'll make the motion to accept them.
Thank you,
I'll second the motion,
thank you.
and we just have to pass around this.
Sure.
So Zach's on that, you do.
Correct, yeah,
Or both. Okay.
correct.
You aren't online either?
Excuse me.
We
She
online?
tried,
Oh,
but
okay.
there was a snafu. Oh, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Voting to accept the February 16th, 2022 minutes. Jeannie Reed, I accept. Going to my left.
Dave Spina, aye.
David Williams, aye.
Joanne Rajek, absent. Thank you.
Sandra Bach absent.
Thank you.
Deborah Harris,
Thank you. John Wiley. Vote to accept the minutes.
I was absent.
Okay, thank you. My apologies. Beth Thomas.
I,
Thank you.
And
You also, did I skip you? Sorry.
it was really bad.
Okay, unanimous decision to accept the minutes. There you
okay,
go.
and absent.
All right, so that's done. Okay, now we'll move on to new business. And we have a new application from the select board regarding the town hall. Good, how are you guys? Mhm.
With the ACPN out of the deal, running just the roof. So looking for your consideration. I have all of our experts here. If you have questions, we have the town attorney to discuss what is or isn't considered maintenance or considered historical, whatever you guys want. Whatever would you like to know now?
So the only thing that's changed is you've taken out the AC from what we had reviewed before.
I wasn't part of that. I don't know what you reviewed. I believe you reviewed everything. That was for the engineering back then, right? We're going for funding to do the engineering at that time.
For the roof. Would we be part of?
Yeah,
Would we take
last
the-
year's application was the first step that would be leading to a subsequent application. Right. So that process did get done. And now we have more refined, updated numbers, at least on the roof portion, that you have an updated memo from the architect. The C portion is being revised because of inputs by the clerk of the works and the supervisor.
Not looking to bring the AC part back here. So
Sorry, but you're talking about the same roof that we had talked about before, that had come before us, correct?
Yeah, pitched roof.
Yeah.
pitched roof.
So the roof that was not original as well as the other roof that was original.
Well, when we voted to renovate the building originally in the 90s, the main thing that the historical commission wanted to preserve then was the facade. And because of code issues, we had to go a different type of approach, but that was the trade-offs. But these types of funds, no different than the other earlier application that you did, can be used to address code updates too. Code issues. And that's why some of those issues are in the town attorney letter. That's a good point. It's the whole. It's all. It's well, except for the council on aging addition. Before the 1928 was being replaced.
So is there any, or was there any attempt by the said applicants to try to make the restoration of the roof back to its architectural design? Because part of what happens with it qualifying under historical is that the attempt is to be made to have it restored to the architectural design. And I realized that, yes, there was 1990 and the original roof was taken off because it was actually not a very practical roof. But in keeping in mind with qualifications by the state, there's this of interior standards of rehabilitation that the coalition wants you to kind of go by. So we need the justification has to be there with that, because we can't, Like what kind of roof is going on?
It's gonna be the same flat roof that the same roof we have now.
Mhm,
Because there's utilities and other things that are under the roof.
mhm.
It would be impractical to restore it to a flat.
Are you talking about the same design to keep it as it was, or are you talking about flat?
I'm not necessarily, I'm not necessarily talking about flat because I would imagine that in this day and age, that's not feasible.
Yep.
But it's in trying to keep in with the historical preservation of the actual building itself is where there kind of becomes where it's a gray area. I would
Well, the
say.
architect's recommendations are similar to the fire station, where it would look like a metal ribbon roof.
Mhm,
And would have the riblets on it instead of the shingles, because the shingles have been blowing off the last few years, and we've had a series of leaks. And we've been doing all the maintenance the last couple of years, so this is not a maintenance project. It's a rehabilitation project. That's why both town council and bond council have reviewed the project, and it is an acceptable use of the funds, so that's a settled issue.
Well,
I guess
it's
I would
acceptable by
pitch
you
in,
guys, but
it's acceptable by town council.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I guess my concern is just getting this the other day, I've made phone calls to the state because I just want to make sure that it is an acceptable use of it. And I haven't gotten any return calls yet. And I personally would like to do some research just to make sure that what we're being told is accurate. No offense, but I just want to double check that, right? I think it's our responsibility to do our due diligence. So
It is.
truthfully, reading through this, what you wrote, I get a lot of it,
Mhm.
but I need validation from the state as well. So to be candid, I'm not sure I'm comfortable even voting on this tonight.
Who is speaking, please?
That was Dave McWilliams.
I agree with Dave. I would like the state, not the attorney, to say it's a legitimate use.
Anyone else?
And just for clarification purposes,
Mhm.
this is my opinion, right? There could be different opinions.
Right.
And what state agency have you contacted in order to provide you with their opinion?
So I was going through the CPC coalition, the people that we pay dues to advise us on CPA projects.
Just so you know, that is not a state organization. That is it's not a state government
Okay,
DOR or any affiliation with the DOR. So I just want you to be clear as
I
to who
appreciate
you're
the
seeking your
clarification.
opinion. Yeah, so
Yeah.
who you're seeking your opinion from. I don't know whether they have legal counsel on their staff to provide you with their opinion.
agreed,
So
agreed.
I would just like the opportunity on behalf of the town, that if you receive a differing opinion, that I have the opportunity to speak with them.
You will know as soon as I know
Okay.
what their feedback is, right?
Yeah.
No, and I appreciate that. Again, I just want to make sure from myself perspective that this is a large sum of money that the town is looking for and that we're using it properly.
Understood.
Feedback that is because if it's not used properly, we risk the risk losing the funding from the state. So that wouldn't go over so well, I don't think. And I don't know if they have legal representation. However, this website or this coalition is like the Bible to all CPC. The 158, I think, communities that have it. So when you have questions, you're allowed to go on there and you're allowed to seek out. There's 2 individuals on the website that you are allowed to seek out. When I presented the issue, one of the things was that it was too close to town meeting to try to even get on the town meeting based on the fact that there needs to be some kind of dialogue and some, the CPC needs to review everything. So that was the first thing. And then I asked some more questions and I didn't get back an answer yet either. That was done maybe the day I got the application from you guys. So again, same kind of thing. So I'm willing to still consider this as a committee, I think. I just think, like Dave said, we need some answers to some questions.
I do have one question though. I mean, the town is asking for $1 million and I'm reading that the project is $889,000, so.
Well, if you look at this updated letter, he tells you what what's not within that number, which is the oversight, the clerk of the works and things of that to do.
Yeah, there was like, what was it, mobilization, which I'm not sure I understand mobilization.
Yeah, well. Send this updated letter that's dated March 9th. The estimated construction cost does not include the soft costs such as clerk of the works, recertification of the existing lightning protection, and so forth, in our team for the bidding and the what's called construction period services, and that's where the architect also comes out and does all the meetings and processes all the change orders and the contract recommendations. So it's in the first 3 or 4 pages.
Okay,
spelled
I'll read
out.
it through again.
And that's ahead of the detailed letter, which is similar to the same range of cost that was in last year's document that was attached to the design request of the 85,000.
All right.
Anyone else have any comments?
We can put this on hold until we get some more information.
We could, yeah, sure.
Making a motion?
Yes, making a motion.
Okay,
To continue.
Yes.
continue the review of
Yes.
the application.
I'll second that.
Okay, all right. So we will be voting on request to continue the application process until we receive more information. Jeannie Reed, I vote, I approve that request. No,
Did anyone second the motion?
Yes,
The masked woman.
Yes, Deb did.
Deborah did.
Deborah.
Yes.
Dave Spina, aye.
David Williams.
Joanne Horacek, aye.
Cassandra Bach, aye.
Deborah Harris, aye.
Brian Walker, aye.
Thank you. John Wally, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Beth Thomas, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, unanimous decision to table the application request until we have more information and we can review it some more.
As soon as I have a conversation, I will share it.
So
Okay.
approve the approval.
All right, review and approval software CPC page for the annual town report. Did you guys have a chance to review the town report?
Is it the draft one you're talking
No, it was actually. We have no, there's no copy of it. Hold on. It was emailed.
about? This evening? This one, is it?
I know we talked about
No.
it. just don't understand.
Do you have? Okay, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. I have a copy. So, okay, so this was, if you want to just, you can just pass it around if you want. But we had discussed this before, you guys. It was just giving a background information about what community preservation is. Then it also gave project examples that we did in 2021, which we had to give an update on. It also gave, it's giving examples of 2022 upcoming projects that we have. So just to go over, 2021 was the cemetery, was also the farm signage for right to farm, updating the cemetery documents, and then the alum treatment for Congamon Lakes. So those were for 2021. For 2022, our upcoming projects were the $25,000 to the town for the master plan. And that was to,
Technically, the housing plan.
yes, actually, so that probably should say that.
It does say it on this. Master plan is it's in the area of the housing.
Yes, it does. My apologies. I missed that part. Yeah.
That's it.
The other one was the North Pond Conservation Trails Grant, $15,000 toward improving the trails and access to North Pond, cleaning up the debris, improving the trails there. There's a couple other minor details. The other one was repairing the old fire station slate roof and the cupola, which was the $5,000 project. And then the next payment for the complex, which was a $75,592 payment for the alum treatment. Yep. So what we had listed in our little project, kind of future projects was, which actually, can you change the brass rail to the 2022 since it was in our upcoming? Okay. And then future talks that we have talked about in the town would be a dog park, pickleball courts, Wally Park splash park, and then the land acquisition for open space, of which is what was discussed earlier. I think you should probably take out recreation center pickleball courts and just put pickleball courts, because we haven't really like gone to them or anything
Right.
like that. So I don't want to have somebody be like,
Draw line.
yeah, I
Draw a
did.
line through it.
Yeah, because I don't
Okay.
want them to be like, hey, what are you guys doing? You haven't even,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
It was an idea and it was just the thought of where it could be, but that's all stuff that needs to
I'm
be.
curious to see what comes out of the whole master planning process, right? Particularly in reference to recreation
Mhm.
and what the response is from the survey is going to be, and that might provide us some direction. moving
Yeah,
forward.
absolutely. Okay. So those are future projects. Is there anything else that anyone wants to, kind of throw on there that we've missed, that we discussed?
We talked a little bit about maybe trees on 10202.
Yeah, we did. We did. For lack of better words, I'll just put tree belt on College Highway.
There you go.
Okay. And then there's,
I'm sorry, yeah, I agree.
go ahead.
We had talked about trees, along the cemetery on the curve, replacing the ones that have been taken down.
There we go. Okay.
Okay, I was gonna say, the snow and everything would clouds
Okay,
go through.
so
would hit the
that
belts.
was by the cemetery.
To the back of my car.
Forgive me, I'm traveling and this is cumbersome. I'm sorry, you guys.
It's okay. Okay, so it wasn't tree.
Cemetery trees.
necessarily Tree belt, it was cemetery
Trees.
trees. Trees. Okay.
I was actually talking about in the town.
You were,
I was talking about.
okay, well then we'll leave that on there
Okay.
and then we'll kind of fight it out with
I
everybody
do remember
else.
what Beth was talking about. I guess they got
Yeah.
taken down a few years back because they're all sick or something. Is that something?
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have bushes in front of the fence now, so they did take them all down.
Okay.
The other ones, the older ones were older, mature, diseased, and they were falling over the fence into the grave.
No.
Stones down.
Those are pretty
Okay.
fragile, those tombstones back there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially the stinks.
Well, this is on the new cemetery.
Oh,
and then just lastly on this, there's just a paragraph about how we were able to appropriate funds in what areas, Parks and Rec, open space, historic. So just talking about improvements of North Pond, talking about our updated master plan. The committee's goal is to use your tax dollars. It says your, because that is the towns and ours as well, to improve and enhance as many places in town that meet CPC funds criteria through generous project funding. That's pretty much it in essence, and I know we got it in our packets, so if. Okay. So, and when is this due by? About 3 weeks ago. Oh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I say we approve it.
So, what do you say?
Not making anything.
Okay,
Okay.
did you submit it already? Okay, so we're still allowed to? With those little thingies we added? Okay. All right, so. Anyone want to entertain a vote?
Okay, a motion to approve?
Okay.
I'll second.
Ryan,
Dave McWilliams, aye.
Dave, okay. Jeannie Reed, aye.
Jake's been aye.
Thank you.
Joanna Rodcheck, aye.
Thank you.
Cassandra Bach, aye.
Deborah Harris, aye.
Thank you.
Brian
St.
Walker, aye.
Patty's Day evening.
John Wally, how do you vote? I'm approving our
Annual.
annual report. John,
Oh, John, we didn't get you.
All right.
thank you. And Beth Thomas?
Aye.
Okay, unanimous decision to approve our annual report with changes that we just talked about.
Right.
And then
Minor.
we need to get that in ASAP. So, thank you. Okay, all right, and we have any new applications or projects to be considered at this time?
I have one small request for Sue. I'd like the first names as well as the last names on the minutes.
Oh,
Make it a little more personal.
okay.
Oh, during the body.
Meaning, oh,
Okay.
okay. The full name. Okay, okay.
So no new application?
No. Okay,
It's not on the agenda, but do you want to give the board an update on the request for the interviews we've done?
oh. Yeah, I was supposed to go in the meeting, so. Well, what I would like to update you on is that we did have interviews for the Concom CPC position. And we interviewed 4 individuals and 2 names have been submitted to the select board for their review. And they will be interviewed at your next meeting?
No, we have procedural stuff.
Okay,
At a future meeting.
yes, and it will be announced. So
Yes, it'll be on the
there's some,
agenda.
sure. So it was narrowed down to 2 very good candidates. So we'll see what happens.
Could be showing the names yet?
Oh, I don't know if I'm allowed to.
Probably should.
No, I don't think I can. We'll just have to sit in on the select board meeting. All right.
Motion to adjourn.
Do we need to schedule our next meeting?
Yes, we do. Thank you. What are we going to agree upon?
Is there anything that we need to do to get together before?
Yeah.
they- So the next normal schedule one would be 20.
We don't need to do the
Not
8th,
for-
not for that, because we can do that. But we should to really get we really should to get this application, some stuff done with this application.
Is that the town?
The town hall roof.
Correct.
Okay, so we're looking for a date for how long would it take? Do you have any idea?
No idea. We have,
Yeah, we have to hear back from the committee.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, they're usually pretty good about getting back to you.
I would have thought I would.
Yeah.
All right, so if it was a normal schedule, it would be on April 20th.
Okay.
But that's actually 5 weeks from now.
April 20th, Friday. Oh, that's May.
So I know it's a little unusual. Would you?
Mhm.
Do you want to meet again on the 30th or?
No, what is vacation? Is there an April vacation?
There is the week of the,
First weekend.
it's the, I think it's the 18th through the 22nd.
Yep.
Okay, so that would have been our normally scheduled.
So what about for the 13th, that's 4 weeks out?
I guess if we were gonna move forward on the roof, when would we have to?
Oh,
make a decision? That's the
God.
question,
Wow.
I guess, right?
Wow.
Is it possible that we?
It would have to be
that's
done by the
unfortunate.
end
It
of-
would have to be done by
Next
March
April
week.
1st.
31st.
Right.
Yeah, like
Right,
next
that's-
week or so. So.
Do you? I guess we could always, once Dave hears back, base it on that and just go through emails.
No, I mean,
Or-
what I would do is I would schedule our normally scheduled meeting, and if we have to have a special meeting like we did
Yeah, for,
on the
Have one earlier.
16th, then we do that, but I would at least put a date on the calendar for our
all right, then let's,
regular schedule.
I suggest the 13th then
Of April?
of April. That way, we miss the school vacations.
7 PM.
Well, I guess people are checking their calendars. Is that gonna work for most people?
Yep.
That's fine.
John, Beth, does that sound okay to you?
April 13th is wonderful.
Yeah, that's fine.
Great.
So be it. It's our next meeting.
So should you get information back, you'll try to schedule.
We'll pull another.
Yeah, we'll-
Before, I appreciate that.
Mhm.
I appreciate David speaking to Van Clear.
Of course.
Thank you.
Now, motion adjourned.
Yes, and Joanne seconded the motion. All in favor of adjourning?
Uh,
Aye.
Aye.